Hi there. Now, we have talked about birds. Don't know which way. This is the right way. B-I-R-D. Birds. And somehow, in that side of my phone, as I'm recording, the bird to me looks upside down. But this is the right way. As I explained, this book is hard cover and it has a spine. As you can see, there is writings. Obviously, that's the author's name and that's the title. Therefore, this is the spine of the book, this book. And have a hard cover. Well, as for these two, there is no spine on this book. And same with this one. This is a notebook where you write things to remember. It's not a diary. It's a notebook. There it is. All right. It says study office school, and as I remember, I bought this one when my youngest child was about 10.5 years old. I was teaching him at home, and he became an author because of me. I taught him, and I taught him how to become an author. I saw he has potential which wasn't recognized by other people, but I'm his mother. When I was teaching him, I find out he has a gift that should be recognized, should not be wasted for any lifetime. So now we understand what is a book without a hard cover. That's no hard cover. When you knock on it, doesn't make it sound like this one. Alright? That's the difference between hardcover book and just ordinary book which has a thicker page, the outer side, than the inside. This is my handwriting for many years. Let me see which years it was. There's a title, Everything and 4 Seasons. I should have a year here. If not, there's the year. November 18th, 2018, and we are at 2024, and there is the barcode. I am not a witch, therefore I don't wave my wand, make things happen. I'm just an author, an artist, a mother, a person who lived to see it through in my life. And this book has 48 pages. Normally a notebook or a book, they indicate how many pages the notebook should have, or any book, so that you know what is it you're paying for. And if you calculate the cost of each page, you would know how much each page is costing you to own it. For this book, it doesn't have a receipt. It didn't go through this barcode. Where I bought this book, they don't use receipts. You pay with cash, no credit card, and you get your book. Seldomly with books on the country which don't have receipts, they don't take it back. Whatever reasons you have to make up your mind that you are buying a book without a receipt. Therefore, if you, for any particular reason, you think the book is not good enough for the price, then don't buy it. And if you think the book has a fault on it, inside or out, then check the book before you part with your money. For once, money didn't come easy for me. And I worked, and I know the value of having to get up early. I used to get out of my house in the United Kingdom, in this country I live in, 4 a.m. I travel from place to place every day to go to work and open a restaurant on my own, prepare everything for everybody in the morning for breakfast, while the owners are upstairs in bed. Then the mother would bring her children to me. I take them to school, and I thought, those children, they had 2, a boy and a girl. In my break, I used to teach them how to dance, ballet dancing. I am an Arab person, so if you understand what ballet dancing in Arabic, when the children have a school off, holiday, half terms or summer, I thought those children how to read and write in the proper way, where when they grow up as an adult like me, or younger than me, or when they go to school as a student to graduate, how to teach them to succeed. What is it they should learn to remember so that they pass their exams to move on to the next stage of education. That was my first job in United Kingdom. I started as a bride. I didn't come pregnant. I lost one when I got married. He was my first husband. I got engaged to other people before, but I never went through with it and get married. But the one I got married, who sent me a visa, and I came to United Kingdom on my own. He was my first husband, but he didn't make me pregnant when we got married. So yes, I am a working class person. At the moment I am not working. I claimed my retirement when I was 55. I am self-employed. I have my own business. As I said, I am an artist and author. I published my son's book first when I was teaching him at home. He was bullied. They picked on him deliberately. I don't know why. I became a single parent and they picked on me and my children. It's a sad story, but there you go. I got over it. Life goes on. There is no point in lingering over things that you have no power over to change. For instance, if your husband goes off with your neighbor, like I said before, what are you to do? You don't know. And if he wants that, let him have it. Don't stand in the way of your partner if your partner wanted something that it doesn't want to share with you, like cheating on you, having it off with your neighbors. He didn't prefer to go far away, at least for the sake of his children and our children, mine and his. He should at least respect, a little bit respect to me and the children. Stay away from the neighbors. My advice to you, from my experience, don't fiddle with your neighbors or your children or those who are nearer to your family branches, like uncles, sisters, daughters, children. Don't. Go and have sex somewhere else. Leave your bed clean. Don't bring them to your home. But that was then. I got over it, like I said. It hurt so much. I am not a cheating person. I like to talk about what I want. If I feel badly, can't help myself, I don't want to go down that road. Have secrets. Especially with someone who you tie yourself to. You swear to God when you make a vows. Therefore you have to keep them. If you cannot keep them, for your conscience, if you clear your mind, do the right thing. Even if you did it just once, come out and say, to your partner. Be open about it. Talk about everything. If you have a partner that you cannot talk to about anything and everything, well, then you're better off without. That is my opinion. However, since we are talking about books, like I said, this one is a soft cover. You can bend it. And as for this one, you can't. You can't bend it. If you bend it, you break it. So it's solid, both ways, including the spine. A book is like a body. Human have a spine behind, connected to our head, through the neck, all the way down to our waist here, connecting our legs. If you know anatomy, that's what it is. I have a dictionary containing all of this I bought from a doctor when I was in the college in this country. I learned a little bit of English because to prepare me to come to my new husband then, many years ago, more than 36 years ago. I lived in this country. And I came, I didn't have a break or a honeymoon. My honeymoon was my work, a job to work for other people. And my husband works too, because we had a mortgage. That was my first husband. I didn't stay with that one. Another problems, different circumstances. I don't really want to go into details. But I'm more or less the similar details as that second husband. But the first one, I didn't stay long enough. It didn't work out. If it doesn't work out and your partner is not completely honest with you, take my advice. Move on with your life. Start clean slate of life. Move on. Like having a shower. In the winter, you might not have a shower. Nobody gonna smell your body odor if you don't have a perfume on. But in the summer, you sweat. You have to wash. And you have to clean yourself when you go to the toilet. It's the same thing. You get rid of things you don't want if you're not happy somewhere. Nowadays, it's not like in olden days, like my father or my grandfather. A man goes out to work, a woman have kids, and there was no contraception. And nowadays, you don't have to have children at all if you think you can't afford a child. Both of you have to pay rent, you have to pay transport, you have to pay this and that, you have to pay for your clothes, shoes, this, that. You calculate that. And having the children, it's a lifetime commitment, even if it's just one. And I only realized that after, when I got married. I didn't know when my father told me, if you want further education, go and get a job. I didn't like it at all. But I have to obey my father's orders. He's my father. Whatever he says, he goes. And he's always right. The same with my mother. They are my parents. I do as I told. That's how I've been brought up. Nothing to do with the neighbors or anybody else who interferes with me and my parents. I never listen to anybody else who tell me otherwise. I listen to my parents, and I never tell my parents what other person told me. I make it as a conversation. Started talking, trying to get an explanation from my mother or my father. That's the kind of household I grew up in. And I know the value of money, like I said. I started working from the age of 7. When I was 7. First year at school. My father registered me at school. He did with my brothers and sisters, but he didn't take me to school the first opening day. My mother took me, gave me a big hug, tapped on my back, and sent me off, told me, "This is your other part-time home," with a smile to make me feel comfortable, so then I could fit in with other people, so then I could understand I am not in a strange place, I am at school, my other home. And then my mother went and she told me, "You have to remember," before we went out of our home, she said, "You have to remember the street I'm taking you to because I'm not picking you up. If someone from the street, our neighbors, was going to school, it wasn't with me. It was just me and my mother. She took me to school, like I said, gave me a big hug, tapped on me and said to me, 'This is your second home.' But not full-time home. They teach you things that I might not have the knowledge to teach you. So therefore, you come in here to have a better life in the future." And I came back home on my own. Therefore, after. So there you have it. A previous encounter of my history about my life. Now, since I explained to you the difference between a hardcover and not so hardcover, so this page, for instance, is harder than the first page of the notebook. But it can be bent, like I said, you can bend it. It won't break. Unless you rip off the pages, then it can be ripped off so easily. Whereas for the hardcover, this one, you can't rip it that easy. It won't come apart so quickly, the outside. But the inside is the same as any other page, maybe thicker than ordinary page, the notebook. Depends on the quality of the book. That way the prices sometimes you find different. For instance, this one will be more expensive than this one, even though this one is larger than this one. But this one is expensive because of the hardcover, and also it's a story inside. So this is a book. This is a proper book. And books came in all sorts of sizes, quality, and whatever is written in it. For instance, a dictionary is not a book that been written as a story. This one is more educational. All books, it doesn't matter how they are written, they are teaching you. And they are telling you. And then you make up your mind, if it's story, whether there is some sense in it that make you think it's a good example. Or maybe it's not a good example. It's all up to you. When you read the book, what is inside, you understand. For me, this book is a good example about watching birds. And I come to a conclusion, my own conclusion, it is a good book. And the person who wrote about this book, he travels to see them in their habitat, wherever the birds are living in our world, on the planet Earth. So he could be, or she could be, on the airplane and see the bird passing by, taking a picture, or while making a movie, as I seldomly do when I am traveling, commuting on the airplane. I get my phone or my camera and I take pictures or make a movie out of what I'm looking at. Because I get amazed over when the airplane above the clouds. So it's like a sponge, it's like cotton to me, the view. And I like that. I like to see every day is different. And from my experience, the clouds that move in or any shape they make, they don't repeat. I never seen a repeat of any kind of clouds so far. I don't know, maybe in future, I'm not sure. So that there you have it. I hope you understand the difference between ordinary book or notebook without the hardcover and the hardcover. And this book, I do believe it's like more cartoon character on it, which I bought for my children, and the person in it looked like a girl. I just bought them and left them there, and I said to my children, you know, you help yourself. You need a notebook, there they are. And that one I used. I didn't buy just one. I don't know. I can't remember how many I bought. So I bought, because I liked it. I like the imitation on it. So I bought it. So obviously the cartoon character is aiming at a spell book with a wand, making a spell, or picking a spell off the book to make it work. But you have to be a magician or, like I said, a wizard or a witch. I don't know. I don't experiment. I haven't experimented on witchcraft. I did buy a book about herbs, but I find also witchcraft or wizardry, they use herbs to call upon the spirits. So I was trying to understand how does it work, but it didn't work for me. If you don't understand something, leave it alone. Try it first. And if you don't understand it, because magic is not something you could take lightly or play with lightly. You have to be very careful what you aiming at, because when you aim at the word, it's a spell. Like when you spell a book, A space B-O-O-K, that's a spelling. But in the magic world, in the wizardry world, in the witchcraft world, spelling has a different meaning to it. So I find in English language there are too many words can be used in the different sentences, on the different meanings, on a different understanding. For instance, I just said a dictionary is spellbound book, which teaches you, if you don't know the meaning of what is a book. Like me, when I came to the United Kingdom, I couldn't understand English very well, but I could run a restaurant because I did a business course back home in the country where I came from. So I know how to run a business, but I can't speak the language. So therefore, I have to learn. And I was reading anything and everything I look at that has written on it. And I found the French language and the English language have a similar words sometimes used in the different sentences for a different meaning. Like in French, you say bonjour. It means good morning in English. But you have to understand the French to know it is bonjour, it's good morning. And you have to understand English. If it's good morning, is bonjour. But you are from a country, you don't speak neither. You don't speak French and you don't speak English. So you have to learn the language of the land you moved into, you came into. So therefore, you emigrate to. But I am not a refugee. I came as a bride. We got married. We were running around like from one place to another place, from one city to another city. He had British nationality and I had a different nationality. So therefore, he has to meet the law of the country. We had to get married. It wasn't me the problem, it was him. Because he's got a British nationality and he didn't have his original, British passport. You have to have another nationality. Like me, I had other nationality. I'm an Arab, I had an Arab passport. But to come to United Kingdom, I need a visa, someone to support me, to bring me up. But I got married to a man who sent me a visa and then I came up. But before that, to get married to me, forget about passport or a visa. You have to get married first. So then we were running around nearly a whole month. So we spent I think it was 5 days together. Then he had to fly away to come to England for his work. Then I followed him. After 6 months, he sent me a visa. I came on my own. But because at the airport, people who serve people for a ticket, they speak a language, other languages, multilingual, you could say. I could speak French, but I didn't speak much of English. So I picked up few words. I got myself English-French dictionary to understand how French is written compared to the British ways of written. And I took it from there. So I brought my own dictionary with me to communicate with people. And the dictionary I had, it has 3 languages. My mother language, French and English. And believe me, it helps me a lot. Because I had to go to work straight away. When I arrived, my former husband said to me, you know, we've got a mortgage to pay and I can't pay it on my own. So I said, what am I to do? I can't speak the language. I'm not going to go and look for work like I did back home. It's a different country. I don't know the rules. I don't know how. So he found me work. He was a friend of his, married person. Have already had children, 3 of them. But me and my husband, we were bride. So I started working. There you go. Squirrel just gone by. Yes, and I got a job. I have to get out of my home 4 a.m. Get to work, get to the place 6 a.m. Taking the bread, salad, milk, all the essentials that I make breakfast with and lunch. It was sitting and takeaway restaurant. That's for breakfast, and then lunch comes things for lunch. So I was like running the restaurant, more or like. They own the place. They live upstairs and they have a restaurant underneath in Westminster, if you know where Westminster is. So from Heathrow Airport to Westminster, from Heathrow Airport to Westminster, by train and buses, it took me 2 hours, more or less, approximately. Depends on the transport. In the morning there is no traffic, so it was all right. And then I get home by 10. I finish work by 8, and then I get a train from Paddington. But I get a bus from where I work to Paddington. From Paddington, I take a train to Heathrow, near where I live. Then take another bus to get to near the street where I live. I could walk, but it's half an hour walk. I don't want to walk early in the morning or late in the evening. Because I stand up all day. It's a restaurant. You stand up all day. So I was up from 4 in the morning until I get home. 10 p.m. sometimes more. And then get ready. It was 7 days a week until I got pregnant. I didn't know I was pregnant. I never was pregnant, so therefore I don't know I was pregnant. All I know is my period is late. Then I realized I was pregnant, and I hated the smell of food. I hated the place. I hated it's the pregnancy. When you're pregnant, some people get like that. You feel tired all the time. So I changed work, started another work nearby. Those were the years ago. But memory stays, whether they're bad or good. There are memories which you're not gonna forget. Not like putting your kids somewhere and you forget where you put them, whether you put them in your pocket or you just left your front door open and you're going shopping for another city. I did that. I have amnesia. I don't know how it happened. I suppose it's just an old age. I left the door open and I went away. At the end of the day, my children came home from school. They were old enough to come and stay home. College age, you could say, so they can stay home. You're allowed to leave your child, I think, when it's 12 years old. I don't know which age. I can't remember. I am a registered childminder, by the way. Another job I did. I did many jobs. And I'm still going to college. You are never too old to learn something. Take it from me. You don't have to be a professor or a philosopher to keep on going to college or keep on teaching yourself at home. Everything you look at, from the minute you open your eyes in the morning or anytime you go to sleep and wake up. You are learning. Your eyes there for learning. You pick up things and you learn every day. So don't waste it. If you like learning, why not? Learn. Keep on learning. Keep on reading books. As long as you read books, you are learning, because the book you buy or you borrow from a library or a story you read on the news in your mobile phone or computer or a pager or anything, you are learning. Someone send you a message, you learning, because you didn't have the similar message, or maybe you did have similar message. You get a phone call, someone speak to you about something, you learning. Everything we do as human beings, to my opinion, is something you add up to what you already knew. Either something in a repeat, which you go to sleep and you get up in the morning, or you have a nap in between. It's similar. Everything is just the same pattern, but in the different ways. You know, like when you know your alphabets by heart, it's there. When you look, because in the dictionary, you need to know your alphabets from A to Z for any language to find what it is you wanted to know the exact meaning of from the dictionary. So therefore, it is important to learn about things. But because I'm dyslexic, there are days where I cannot read anything. Everything I look at is bouncing, like dancing. Words, they get muddled up together and I cannot make sense. So I have to admit that if you're dyslexic like me, I can understand where you're coming from. But I found the other days it's very clear for me to understand anything I needed to know from a dictionary. So, yes, I learned my way through all these years. Whenever I go, wherever I go, supermarket, tins, covers of the food, anything, I'll spend and I spare my time to look at what is the date at least. When is the expiry date? In United Kingdom, shopping, everything expired. Food, they have a date they expired. So it is important not to poison yourself with the things gone off. Or you may be allergic to something. Even in your household. If things they go off, then leave it alone. Don't cook with it. Throw it away. Don't eat it. Now, as we finish talking about this and that and everything, now I'm gonna open this book and further explain about a book. So, after the first cover, this book has blank pages, so of them are blank and the same there. Some authors, they allow this for the readers to make notes. So if you are traveling with this book and you've seen something that you want to remember, you can write notes here on those pages. Or write the dates you are observing the birds on your way. Like just say you're walking, you are going shopping, going to school, going to college, going to cinema or a theater, going to meet a friend, but you're obsessed with this book. You want to know, you want to read about it, you're involved with this book, deeply involved with it, so you go to extra length to do more about it, to understand, to bother yourself with the written words, your own words. But it has to be your book. You own it. You own the book. So you paid a partial price for its work, for the author, for the publishers, for the shops who sell it, for the mobile phones who created the mobile phones and have it on Google. You pay partially for the value of the book that you buy. Therefore, you helping them as well as they're helping you. My help for buying this book is to understand